Greetings and welcome to this week's edition of One Big Thing. Kurt Goulding here, and today's one big thing is government subsidies. Man, if you want to get my blood boiling, talk about subsidies and how important they are. Bull crap. They are the single biggest destroyer of innovation. When you have subsidies, people look for a way to beat the system, not to be more efficient and effective and innovative. It's horrible for business. It's horrible for agriculture. We need to focus on taking advantage of our competitive advantages. In the U.S., for instance, we have an incredible advantage in capital. Cost of capital is cheap here relative to the rest of the world. And we have lots of land. We have incredibly efficient producers. So we start looking at these subsidies. U.S. corn production's increased, roughly 25% in the last 20 years. Whoa! We're farming less ground. How are we doing that? Well, part of it's been because they created this phony baloney industry called ethanol. It's not great for the environment. It's probably a wash, if at best. But there was some politicians that received, shall we say, encouragement from friends of theirs. And they were both Republicans and Democrats. And this one particular company, they had excess capacity. And they thought, well, let's do ethanol and call it, this is going to be good for the farmers. And suddenly, ethanol doesn't pay taxes on gas. So when you go to the pump to fill up your car, the ethanol has a 50+ cent a gallon advantage over regular gasoline. So that's an indirect subsidy. But virtually all the plants were built on ground. They got 20 and 30-year tax abatement. The land was given to them. All kinds of direct and indirect subsidies. And then the government created this thing called RINs. It's a piece of paper to trade around and to make money on. It has nothing to do with the production of product. And, so now Mr. Biden comes out and says, you know what? I know that when I signed this American inflation increase program, $1 trillion that we just burned up money, they created this a new standard or a new incentive for 3 billion gallons of sustainable aviation fuel. And that's basically taking and converting vegetable oils. Now, it's also supposed to include other oils, so it could be animal fats and spent cooking oil and all these things, but it comes down soybean oil, palm oil, and diverting food to fuel. And this massive subsidy is in the form of tax credits. Oh, Mr. Biden, you tell me that you want people to pay taxes, and now you're giving them tax-free? Oh, you hypocrite, you piece of crap. I'll be glad you're gone. So, he hasn't finished that legislation. He said, screw it, I'm going to walk off and go into wherever he's going, into the sunset, and it can't be fast enough. But Mr. Trump has vowed he's going to undo many of these stupid programs that billions of dollars were wasted on. And here's an area in ag where we can get rid of some stupid programs. Let's let the most productive, the most innovative people prosper and do well. And then that lifts the boat for everyone. If you can't raise corn and soybeans profitably, look at something else. And farmers are incredibly innovative. So we look at this, and now there's a lot of fear. Oh no, what's going to happen to the market? We got to have all these subsidies. I just don't know what I'm going to do. Well, why don't you think about what you're going to do? You don't have to do corn and soybeans. Run some cattle. Plant some alfalfa. Raise hay. There's lots of things you can do. But anyway, until next time, happy trading.